Welcome to the Society for Calligraphy's Exhibition 2020, a calligraphy exhibit, at Muzeo Museum and Cultural Center's beautiful historic Carnegie Library building. The word calligraphy comes from the Greek, meaning beautiful writing. In 2019, the Society for Calligraphy celebrated its 45th year. The guild was started by a handful of calligraphers in Southern California under the direction of Donald Jackson, who was the official British calligrapher and scribe to the Crown Office of the United Kingdom of Great Britain. He was also the artistic director and illuminator of the St. John's Bible, the first completely handwritten and illuminated Bible commissioned by a Benedictine abbey since the invention of the printing press in the mid-15th century. Over the years, the Society grew from a handful of people and now has 500 members from Southern California. Every 2 years, the Society for Calligraphy exhibits their members' work at museums, libraries, and universities in Southern California.
Our first piece in Museo's Turner Gallery is Suzanne Leck's Dance. This piece was created using watercolor, with verse written using pointed and broad-edge pen. The artist, based in Southern California, works with watercolors, acrylics, and ink in her calligraphy.
This piece was created for an exhibit on Mahatma Gandhi at the Cerritos Library. The artist chose to work large and wrote out a long text on Gandhi's history.
Marjorie Grace Sayers' Wind is the Sacred Music is done with watercolors and calligraphy. Grace Sayers, a current Society of Calligraphy board member, has been studying calligraphy for approximately 20 years and also does bookbinding.
This piece consists of 4 separate panels. It was created using a variety of postcards, most of which began as handmade art, which was then scanned and combined into collages using Photoshop. After working in IT, Darwick studied graphic art and found it a perfect way to combine her interests in art and computing.
Spencerian Gratitude by Catherine Sanchez is a Thanksgiving quote done with pointed pen, walnut ink, and watercolor. Sanchez has been studying calligraphy since 1980.
Untitled by Christina Virtue features silo cutwork lettering on black paper.
Annie Lawrence shows us that calligraphy can be sculptural with her show-stopping pieces Egg and Shoe. Egg, or So Many Letters, So Little Time, uses an ostrich egg as the ground for her expressive calligraphy and images.
Lawrence's Shoe is created using a technique called Zentangle, a way to create images by drawing non-representational patterns, or tangles, in this case on a single fringed shoe.
Carol Johnson's Roman Pun quotes French cartoon character Obelix as he and Asterix are fighting the Romans. The translation is, "These Romans are crazy." The pun is that, like Roman soldiers, Roman letter forms are difficult to master. Johnson is a Los Angeles County artist who has taught all over the world.
This piece, depicting the Roman numerals for 2020, was done with ink and gold leaf on cotton paper. Womack is a calligrapher, mixed media illustrator, and instructor.
Barbara Close is an internationally known calligrapher, designer, and instructor. Her work encompasses a wide variety of lettering styles and mixed media applications. She encourages playful experimentation and emboldens her students to develop an individual approach to calligraphy. Her work can be seen in many national magazines and in private collections.
Here, artist Jejunum brings us 2 colorful pieces created with 23-karat gold on altered pages of National Geographic magazine treated with Citrusolve. The first work is titled My Storehouse Having Burnt Down, a poem by Masahide. The complete poem by the Zen master Masahide is a testament to finding the silver lining in hardship. My storehouse having burnt down Nothing obscures my view of the bright moon.
The second piece by Nim is Stopping by the Woods on a Snowy Evening by Robert Frost. Nim credits her mother with teaching her the alphabet in cursive handwriting before she began kindergarten.
A ketubah is a Jewish marriage contract that is obligatory at every Jewish wedding. It is a statement of vows, frequently written in both Hebrew and English. This love, a ketubah, was created for 2010's Manifest Equality, an exhibition advocating for marriage equality. Says Saslow, "Since the bulk of my work in the real world has been creating ketubot, I felt mine was a perfect medium to underscore how the values which are the foundation of my own marriage, which even after 16 years at the time I made this piece was still not legally recognized, are no different than the thousands of legal heterosexual marriages whose ceremonies have been beautified by my artwork." Saslow is a Los Angeles-based calligrapher, designer, and art instructor. He is currently a full-time calligrapher for the County of Los Angeles.
Darshini Aithal's 2020 Year of the Rat is done with brush calligraphy. The artist decided, in keeping with the exhibition theme 2020, to celebrate the Chinese Year of the Rat, using lanterns to enhance the concept.
Hava Gerber's Perfect World is a multimedia book that was created during a program with another featured artist in this exhibition, Yukimi Anand. Gerber is an aerospace engineer by trade and an enthusiastic amateur calligrapher.
A Garden of Many Colors by Janet Martorello is shaped as a bouquet of flowers picked from God's garden, all growing together in harmony. Martorello trained as a medieval scribe. She is a teacher and a working artist who runs her own studio.
This was a quote from a presentation given by Richard Dreyfuss at the 1996 Grammy Awards. Kowal was an art teacher, and this quote highlighted the importance of the arts in schools. She describes the piece, made with a pen variation, as a real challenge.
Deanne Singh created alphabet A to Z in the style of Yan Koch. It was done with brush on canvas with acrylic paint. Singh is a lifelong calligrapher and teacher of hundreds of students over the last 39 years. She has been an active member of the Society for Calligraphy since 1979. Singh is a Hollywood calligrapher for the film industry. She worked on Indiana Jones, rewriting a document 75 times for multiple takes as Dr. Jones throws the paper into the fire. In National Treasure, Book of Secrets, Singh did the calligraphy on a page from John Wilkes Booth's diary that features prominently as a plot point. Fire retardant was used to burn parts of the page selectively, which Singh had to create 100 copies of for this scene.
Geisha Girl is an abstraction of a traditional Japanese woodcut. It is a mixed media piece incorporating watercolors, acrylics, watercolor pencils, and collage materials.
This piece, which means 2020 in Roman numerals, was done with watercolors, walnut ink, sumi ink, and acrylic paints. Choksi is a graphic and fine artist working with various mixed media.
Sunflower, by Alice John Hung, was created using watercolors and gouache.
Demonstrating the versatility of calligraphy, Todd Jameson created Visigoth Veneer Versal. A versal is a style of ornate capital letter used to start a verse or paragraph in a manuscript. It is made with ebony inlaid on hardwood and was created as part of an Instagram challenge. Jameson is a South Bay artist and teacher, and he has been creating letter forms for almost 6 decades.
Husting's accordion book contains Bible verses composed of several variations of Gothic or black letter forms.
Anand is an internationally known calligrapher and sought-after instructor. The background was created several years ago to express her mother's life, referencing the Japanese proverb, "Fall down 7 times, stand up 8." When her mother's health condition deteriorated before this exhibition, she hastened to complete it in time for 2020 a calligraphy exhibit.
Eithal's second piece in the exhibition was done using brush calligraphy and acrylics.
Butterfly, a book by Yukimi Anand, was created to evoke her feelings about the text. In wind reeking of duckweed, a butterfly flashed. Only for an instant on his dry lips he felt the touch of the butterfly wings. But years afterwards, on his lips, the wings' imprinted dust still glittered.
John Rafter's Hands by Robinson Jeffers was done with acrylic, 24-karat gold leaf, and sumi ink on hide. Rafter has studied under world-renowned English scribe Donald Jackson. An instructor himself since the late 1970s, Rafter is able to do approximately 70 styles of calligraphy.
These star books were created for an assignment requiring the calligrapher to use brush lettering and a no-thread binding technique. Lorge's star book features white lettering on black paper.
Ackerman majored in art at Cal State Northridge in the late 1960s. This is her 5th year studying with instructor Barbara Close, whose work is also featured in this exhibition.
Zingrab's star book uses calligraphy and ornaments to beautifully illustrate the songs of Christmas.
Chow's star book evokes the warm orange hues of autumn. These posters, in the lobby space between the exhibition galleries, were collected from 7 previous exhibitions between 1975 and 1988.
This first piece in the South Gallery was lettered using a bamboo stylus handcrafted by the artist. Fong, Los Angeles City Council graphics lettering artist for over 36 years, began his lifelong passion for lettering at the age of 11 thanks to his father, Roy K. Fong, a student of calligrapher William B. Woolman. Ed is also an instructor and a freelance calligrapher who has made a commitment to share his expertise with the next generation of scribes.
This piece was created using ink and watercolor. Langereau is a local book artist and calligrapher.
This piece features a quote by Mahatma Gandhi. The artist placed an olive branch at the end of the quote, symbolizing the piece that Gandhi was noted for. Wafer has been doing calligraphy for 6 years.
In You Inspire Me by Janet Martorello, the calligraphy depicts original words written as a love letter to trees, which touch and inspire her. The lettering was designed specifically for this piece.
Steele's wall hanging was created using felt pen and pan pastels on canvas.
With Gourd, Annie Lawrence shows us once again that calligraphy can be applied to the most unexpected of objects.
This piece was created from approximately 40 feet of 18-gauge copper wire configured into a double Mobius.
Sylvia Kowal's 2 suspended pieces are mobiles created for friends containing positive messages for the new year. This exploration of the color red was done with pointed pen watercolor on watercolor paper.
Imai is a teacher and a longtime member of the Society for Calligraphy. Dance was done on cotton watercolor paper with watercolors, metal pens, and brushes.
This piece was created by attaching tea-dyed weathergrams with ink calligraphy to wooden branches. It is a mixed media work embellished with yarn, feathers, and pine cones.
Ba is a Taiwanese-Canadian artist who worked as a freelance calligrapher before landing her current position as a full-time calligrapher for the County of Los Angeles.
This piece was written in walnut ink and painted in gouache on cotton paper. Watson Diedrich was introduced to calligraphy in 1979 and incorporates calligraphy into design and fine art applications.
Husting formed a large ornamental letter P shaped by Celtic knots to decorate this verse from the Bible.
In this second piece by artist Barbara Close, she uses diluted blister inks and a broad-edged pen and pointed pen to execute this upbeat Susie Toronto quote.
Cece Sadler's Perseverance and Progress combines markers and graphite on Bristol board.
Yoon's piece illustrates the importance of enjoying life despite its imperfections.
This piece, also known as Peace Prayer, I Lack the Peace of Simple Things, was created using acrylic paint and paper on panel using Wendell Berry's poem, The Want of Peace. Kim is a calligrapher and law librarian, and her pieces in this exhibition reflect her 2 main sources of inspiration, words and the natural world.
Padilla is an artist and former scientist wishing to express the beauty of math and science through fine art. She is currently serving as the president of the Society for Calligraphy. In this piece, created with 24-karat gold leaf and watercolor, strips of paper interrupt the 24-karat gilded text of the Equal Rights Amendment to show progress towards its ratification. The pearlescent Gothic lettering includes the final steps taken in 2019 to prepare the issue for congressional action in 2020. The strips of paper arranged to form the I Ching hexagram, meaning incomplete or about to be completed.
Kim's second piece, also known as Peace Prayer, I Come into the Peace of Wild Things, was created using acrylic paint, graphite, and paper on panel. It was inspired by Wendell Berry's poem, The Peace of Wild Things.
2020 was written with brush and pen using gouache and ink on watercolor paper. There's no set direction to display this piece. It can be viewed horizontally or vertically like most of Alan's works. 2020 took its inspiration from the title of the exhibition, which Alan believes will herald a new decade of changes. Alan retired from the print production and advertising world and fittingly enjoys the freedom to create without direction. She serves on the board of the Society for Calligraphy and has organized this exhibition and one at the Bowers Museum.
The process of giving visual energy to 26 letters has continually fed the artist's curiosity to study, teach, share, and enjoy the craft of hand lettering for over 20 years. Her favorite quote is from Hermann Zopf, "All letters are in the bottle of ink, waiting for you to pull them out."
This piece was done using a broad-edge pen with gouache and 24-karat gold on paper.
Rafter's second piece in the exhibition was created with black ink and acrylic on scratchboard. The ink was applied to the scratchboard and then scraped away with a knife, leaving only the letters.
The second of 3 pieces by Jameson, Go, uses inks on vintage ledger paper. It is from a series of works done on a single pad of old ledger paper, a form of graph paper used by bookkeepers.
Ba created this piece as a final project in Barbara Close's studio class. The assignment required the inclusion of a wide variety of lettering styles and techniques into a single piece that would serve as a portfolio of what had been learned. Ba chose to write out lyrics from some of her favorite Beatles songs, using a witty play on words for her title.
Devanagari means from the land of gods, and mandala means a circle. Devanagari is one of the 13 main scripts from India and is used for almost 120 languages. Written from left to right, it has 47 characters, 33 consonants and 14 vowels. The piece was done using acrylic paints, and the orange and green colors represent the colors of the Indian flag.
Factor used watercolor and gold leaf on cotton paper to create this piece.
The text of this piece is by Janice Mei Audrey, and it is created in acrylic ink on cotton paper. A Tree is Nice is a favorite children's book of Anand's and a frequent source of inspiration for her art. The view out the window of a train in Italy provided inspiration for the design, which was executed with a folded pen and blending colors of acrylic ink.
Calligraphy flows like a stream across the surface of Powell's piece.
The hand lettering for this piece was done on an Apple iPad Pro with an Apple Pencil using Art Studio Pro. Brush-painted stroke for the background was done on paper and then scanned into Art Studio Pro, along with the background paper image. Some typography was added, and the result was printed on an inkjet printer on matte paper.
Another color exploration by Bronner, this time in shades of blue.
Artist Aida Li has chosen to represent the year 2020 using the Chinese zodiac's Year of the Rat. The rat symbolizes strong vitality, and the zodiac element is metal. Due to the rat's association with production, the Year of the Rat is foretold to be a year of prosperity and growth filled with new experiences. Ula is one of the youngest members of the Society for Calligraphy and began studying the art form when she was just 13 years old. Now, 4 years later, she is among the best calligraphers in town.
This second piece by Kabildis uses only embossing to create her letter forms.
The fourth and final piece of Anand's in the exhibition was inspired by a plant in her garden that attracts butterflies to lay their eggs. The artist enjoys watching caterpillars grow into butterflies, whose short lives are nonetheless elegant and contented.
Lex's piece features a watercolor edge with verse written using pointed pen.
Todd Jameson's Gratitude grew out of a test sheet for inexpensive fountain pens from Daiso. The background is built up from wet-on-dry work, with the poetry rendered on top with a fine B-Series speedball nib and white paint.
Nim's third piece in the exhibition is an excerpt from a Wallace Stevens poem that was written in masking fluid, painted over, and then removed to reveal the white paper underneath.
This second piece by calligrapher Ula features an intricate heart executed with 23-karat gold, Swarovski crystals, and various media including watercolor pencils, white and metallic pigments, gouache, ink, and Jelly Roll Stardust pens. I will quote the young artist as a beautiful way to close this video tour of the Society for Calligraphy's exhibition. There is a common misconception among our society that we must seek validation from others in order to prove ourselves. Why? Why must we act to satisfy others? I have a proposal. Shall we simply be ourselves? Let us find peace within ourselves. Let us love ourselves. Let us nurture the garden in our hearts. No matter what hardships we have each encountered, no weeds or dark spaces exist in our hearts. It takes both the rain and the sun to nourish blossoms. But most of all, it takes time to allow buds to fully blossom. So here, let us love, so we can forgive, so we can cherish, so we can accept, so we can smile, so we can love in full bloom every day.